good, everybody? DLDS Gaming here. Day late, dollar short if you're nasty. And we are on take 2. I just went through, and you can see I just claimed my day 12 rewards from my calendars. One of them was a 10 pop of Eternals, so let's hit that real quick. And I also did a little summoning session earlier, so I'll plug that in at the end of this video. If you're interested in seeing some more pulls, I did my 60 Ancestral from the daily gift. Nothing too crazy here. Scotty will help me build mine out. And Hound Duat is pretty cool. As you can see, still hunting for gold. Just crossed over 100 into my pity. But yeah, this video isn't just about summons. I want to talk about the beta and how it's been. Obviously just showed you I'm on day 12, but I want to talk about mostly my first week and how it's been feeling. And honestly, overall, I've been having a blast so far. Jumping into the beta felt really good compared to the alpha, where the cavern was still a lot of fun, but actually jumping into the world was great, having access to the sanctum and all the different areas. So we can go into the smithy, get the little gold shop in the bazaar, the Godforge, we're actually doing pulls, not just farming heroes from stages. Obviously it's a beta, there's been some bugs. Some have hit me harder than others, and some things other people have had, I haven't had nearly as bad, so I can't complain too much on the bugs front. We'll get into a couple of my pain points a little later. But yeah, overall the first week was a real good experience. First few sessions felt great. We had a good amount of energy to just go ahead and jump in and start pushing our way through the campaign. You can see I've fully finished out the adventure mode. Sorry, not adventure mode, the story mode. I was just checking Discord to try and jog my memory on some stuff. And I don't remember exactly when I finished the story mode, like just pushing through it, not 3-starring. But I know last Saturday I did a collab with JKG and Gecko and Scrolls of Anubis. And when we recorded that, I had finished going through the story mode. And I just found a screenshot that I shared on Discord. I finished 3-starring everything on Monday night. So I just barely made the 1-week cutoff, finishing story and 3-starring it. And I'm pretty sure when I was 3-starring story mode, I was only on Avalon. So by the end of the first week, I had made it to Adventure, but I don't think I had cleared Avalon. I think I was only a few stages in. But obviously, as you can see now, I'm on Olympus. And it's been a little bit of a struggle because there's a Hercules bug. If you're struggling with that bug, check out I'll card to a video I made. You can actually make it through the Hercules stages in Olympus. But depending on what disruptors you have, you might have to get a little lucky or might just be able to cruise through it. I will say I was definitely hooked from the start. I felt like I was making good progression, and that's kind of what kept me coming back, is I was growing my heroes. Definitely meant to hit Sanctum, not heroes there. But yeah, I was growing my heroes. I was leveling up, I was pushing stages, and then when I'd get stuck in campaign, I'd be able to jump over to dungeons, push a little bit in dungeons, go back to campaign. So that kind of stuff kept me coming back and really hooked me in. I love that progression feeling and feeling like I'm moving forward each day. As far as things I enjoyed, I really enjoyed checking out heroes. After the alpha, well, I should say after the minigame, I wasn't really following the heroes closely, so I knew there were going to be a lot of changes between when the minigame ended and when the beta started. So it's been really cool looking into the new hero kits that I haven't seen before, or some of the changes to the ones that I have seen before. I also, if I can kick one off, I really enjoyed these cutscenes in between stages. I just think it's a real interesting way to bring the story, and I don't want to spoil too much, so I won't click into it, but I was a real big fan of these scenes and the voiceovers, so you don't just have to sit there reading it. I will say, it worked out for this video, but I wish they didn't show every time you clicked into a stage. So I went through and I didn't 3-star everything, so I'd click on a stage and, alright, gotta skip the story, but I just want to see the 3-star requirements. And then I gotta go to my heroes pages and, you know, tinker with my heroes, make sure I have what I need for the stages. And then, alright, back to stage 3. Oh, gotta skip the story again. Obviously not a huge deal, you saw how quick the skip button worked, but it's just that extra click every time. And especially if you're forgetful, like I happen to be, you click, see what the factions were, go to your heroes, and you're like, oh, crap, it was this and what again? So yeah, that wasn't really one of my big pain points, but I enjoyed the stories. I just wish you watched it once and then you didn't have to go through it when you click back through. I actually didn't mind them in between each chapter. I felt like it kept the flow going. So like each stage you knew things were developing as you went through, versus just, alright, I got the story, beat all these stages, okay, I got the next piece of story. Like, I thought it was cool actually seeing things progress as you go through. And again, if you don't like the stories, you saw how quick the skip button was there. I think one of the downsides of following the project so closely is there wasn't really anything that surprised me. I've kind of been keeping up with all the mechanics and systems and different things. Sorry, problem of having my work messenger on my phone. Lost my train of thought when someone asked me a question. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I left off saying I don't want to spoil anything, but the kind of only surprise was probably the story. Finally learning who some of the big bads were and who were behind different events that we've been trying to guess at since we saw the release trailer. I don't want to spoil anything, but since I've been following along the project, I didn't have too much that surprised me. But yeah, getting back into enjoying the heroes and all the different kits to look at. I think if you're into this type of game, and you enjoy the grind, and you enjoy depth, I think that's what'll really stand out for you playing Godforge. One of the other big changes going from alpha to beta was we went from, I think, 67 heroes to over 200. So not only are there different kits, but there's tons of new heroes to go out and learn. And the depth is pretty great. You have your 6 gear slots and a lot of different main stats from the gear you can get. If I pull up this screenshot real quick, you can see get a wide variety of main stats on your gear. You're not just locked into one stat on certain pieces. I won't break it down into detail, but you can pause and check it out if you need to. On top of all that gear, you also have your weapons, and your weapons can be imprinted. And there's huge variety. You can see we have rare, epic, and legendary. So I got a real good amount of rare and epic. Legendary, real hard to come by. I only have my one from the minigame. I haven't been lucky enough to pull one yet. But I believe in the actual game there'll be ways to forge them, so they'll still be really rare. But there will hopefully at least be avenues to go get them. If I click one that's not imprinted, you can see list of imprints I have, so you can give each weapon an ability that'll turn into a passive for the hero that you equip the weapon on. But yeah, basically there's a whole ton of depth in building, and right now it's kind of grind mode. We only have access to the campaign and dungeons. The arena and tower are locked, so kind of limited on the places we have available to burn our energy. But if you like that depth in your gameplay and being able to strategize, pick a random boss, they all have their own abilities and ultimates. Then they also have their passives where you can kind of see what will be useful to help you defeat them. For example, the Winged Reaper. You can see your basic and cores inflict 50% reduced damage, but ultimate abilities inflict 50% increased damage. So you're going to want to build a lot of faith in your builds for this boss, so that you can get rotating your ultimates quicker and take advantage of that 50% increased damage. And also immune to disable, so you're not really going to want to bring disruptors in. If they can't land their disables on the boss, they're not going to do you a lot of good, so probably want some invokers that push your divinity and your faith and help you rotate your ultimates. That's just one passive of one boss. There's a lot more strategy and things to get into with the different bosses. I honestly haven't been getting that far into it. If we go back to my heroes, sorry, no, I've been in and out of this page like 10 times already. But I've mostly been running my main core team, which was Thorkel, Ramses, Apollo, Mulan and Isolde. Then when I pulled Ninsun, I kind of shifted Isolde out, because Ninsun is another healer, and I wasn't running a defender, so I wasn't getting the most out of Isolde. And before I knew they were bugged, she has a revive, so I was happy to get a revive until I realized they didn't work. But it's beta, what are you gonna do? It was definitely probably a little bit of a mistake investing in Apollo and Mulan. One thing that kind of separates Godforge from other games, I've mainly played Raid, but for example, I just pulled Quetzalcoatl yesterday, and if you look, he's level 1 star. And coming from Raid, I'm kind of used to, if you pull a legendary, they're already 5 star, you can level them up to 50, they're going to have decent stats. And while it really isn't too difficult to get a legendary leveled up purely level-wise compared to other heroes, it is still a pretty big investment into a hero that you are going to have a hard time ascending and a hard time booking out. You can see I haven't put any books into Mulan. I was, however, able to max out Apollo, but you can see he's still even only 5 stars and ascended. But yeah, as an invoker, I didn't think it was that important to rush him up to 6 star. I can just kind of build survivability into him and speed and get him rotating abilities. You can see I have him 195 speed, 181 faith. That's 2 of the higher for both speed and faith on my account. You can see Scotty and Hippolyta are my 2 fastest, and their faith dramatically drops down to 135, 111, whereas his is 181 and he's only about 10 speed slower. Same thing with Ramses. He's a little slower than Apollo, but that faith drops off down to 120. Thorkel's kind of just a tank. His speed isn't that great, or his faith. But yeah, I really enjoyed pulling Thorkel. He's a brawler, so his damage is mainly based on HP. So he's easy to build as a tank, and that helps his damage. And he has a lot of bleed synergy, which I know will be pretty strong. So I'm mixing it up a little, getting bleed from Thorkel and acid from Ramses. Ramses actually has surprised me a little bit. For the 3 alpha waves, I started with each starter hero started with a different starter hero on each wave, and I didn't love Ramses when I picked him as my starter. But man, he's been doing work in campaign and dungeons. And I mean, also he was my first 6 star, so kind of expect him to do a little bit more of the carrying. But his acids have been putting in a lot of work, especially with the bleeds. They kind of help complement each other, both ticking damage on the enemies. And I also threw my Sun Wukong imprint on his weapon, so it's great. He's, I don't want to say constantly joining ally attacks, but this 25% feels real good. Feels like he's jumping in a lot, and there's probably a couple clears that I've only gotten because he jumped in on attacks that saved me. I think for the most part my team has been built around Ramses and Apollo, my hero from the minigame. He's going to be equalizing divinity of an ally up to his divinity, so he's going to help get your ultimates quicker. He also reduces the cooldown of the core abilities for 1 turn on his ultimate, so that helps you just get back to the strongest abilities quicker. And originally Hippolyta wasn't part of my team, but like I said, I did that collab last week on Saturday, and it just kind of clicked that she would be a great pairing for Apollo. Places speed up on all allies from Olympus, and she has a join attack on her ultimate, and allies from Olympus always join the attack. So some real good synergy, speeding up Apollo and bringing him in. He uses A1, and his A1 is real great because it's going to place Mend on all allies for a turn, which also helps with his ultimate. For each ally under Mend, increase their divinity by 15%. So you're basically boosting his speed, bringing him in for attacks. He's putting up more Mends, which is boosting more divinity while also reducing core abilities and boosting divinity on his core. So those 2 heroes really complement each other well, and Hippolyta's definitely worth investing in. Getting a Scotty, I knew she was great during the alpha, and I wasn't really planning on using her for the beta, but I got into some trouble in adventure mode, and I was like, I need a strong disabler. And honestly, if we look at my heroes, this is pretty much what I had going for me after the first week. If I scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of epics and legendaries that were all recent pulls. So I didn't have Loki, I didn't have Quetz, didn't have Green Knight or Divana. I stay pulling Polyphemus. Don't know why. I didn't have Zetotek. Now we're down into the rares. But yeah, I'm not going to go listing everybody, but most of these Eternals I didn't have. I was having real bad luck. I only had Himiko for the longest time for Eternal Epics and nobody else. Anyways, just saying all that to get back to Scotty. I was kind of limited on options for disruptors. So I went with All Reliable, and she was clutch for adventure mode. Would not have pushed as far as I have without her. As for my favorites, probably have to go Apollo, just because he's doing so much to boost the team. I didn't even talk about his passive, but whenever an ally uses a core ability, increase the damage of their core ability by 10%. Stacks reset on each wave, which isn't great for wave content, but when you go a few rounds with bosses on the boss wave, it really adds up. And he's a recent addition to the team, but I think Xlotl is another one of my favorites. I mean, looks insane. I was so happy to pull him. I mean, the design is nuts. I can't believe he's an epic and not a legendary. Those claws are so dope. Just looks incredible. I mean, come on, look at these claws.
I am soaking wet right now.
Gives me real Wolverine vibes, and it's my favorite X-Men, so he's just really dope, and his kit is real good. On top of that, a lot of randomness, but a lot of randomness that flows together well and gives you the chance to really place a lot of things. But yeah, I'd probably have to list those as my top 2 favorites right now. I'm really kind of torn up. I want to pull a Vivian so bad. That would definitely be my next most wanted hero. But also, we wipe after the beta. So it's like, do I want to pull her just to lose her when the beta's over? And just to clarify, between beta 1 and there is going to be a second beta a little further along the road. We don't have an ETA yet, but we do know there should be a second beta coming. Basically, due to some server-side things, they're going to have to completely wipe the accounts, but they are going to have a snapshot of heroes. So when we come back for the second beta, we'll have all our heroes, most likely back to base level and no gear and anything. But when I say we're going to lose everything after the beta, I mean after the next wave. We're going to lose everything between beta and early access. And I did promise a couple pain points. One thing I really want to dive into is gearing early on is so painful. I don't know if I can find... I think I swapped out the piece. Yeah. Let me go to my bag. I guess real quick while we're on the bag, I don't mind having the bag to come in and look at everything. It's kind of cool having all the different tabs and being able to see everything. I will say one thing that's a little weird is your energy shows up in the bag. So for the longest time I thought this was like some bug and I couldn't collect this, but 617 energy, if I click out 617 energy. So I don't think it's necessary to have this in the bag. But yeah, if you missed it, some of your energy refills are in your bag on this tab, so for anyone that hasn't been in here looking around, probably have a bunch of energy pots sitting here. I was definitely late to the game on using them. But yeah, my only real issue with the weapons being in here is I can only sell from this screen. So like when I have the daily mission come in and upgrade 4 weapons, I would love to just click on my bag and pull up my gear and set a couple filters. Like all the filters are great. Sorry, quick cut-in. As you can see, got the contacts out, glasses on. So editing future DLDS here. I was talking about how the filters are great. And while I was editing, I remembered one thing I don't like. If you're looking for substats, and let's say I have speed and accuracy selected, it doesn't just filter down to pieces that have speed and accuracy. It looks for both independently. So like this piece, obviously, only has accuracy, no speed. So just wanted to throw that in real quick. That is one downside to the filters that I didn't love. Although I do think it would be something I would like to have a switch for. I don't know how useful it would be, but maybe something like if you're looking at all your speed and faith boots, and you want to see what faith boots you have with speed and what speed boots you have with faith, then searching for it independently wouldn't be so bad. But if I just want speed boots with faith and accuracy, I only want to see my speed boots with faith and accuracy, not my speed boots with just one of the substats. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Just wanted to add that in quick. I would love to just come into my bag, set my filters, and go boom, boom, boom. Let me level these 5 pieces of gear up. But instead, I gotta go into my hero screen, go to my gear, find a piece. Now I'm only looking at chest pieces. Now, once I'm on this enhanced screen, now I can start filtering and looking at everything. It's like, if I have the bag, just let me do it from here. So that actually wasn't the rant I wanted to go on. Just happened to be in the bag and think of it. What I do want to talk about is how crazy it is to build some heroes early game, specifically crit rate. Like, I have a 4-star legendary piece and I rolled 2% crit rate. Come on. And look at this piece. I know it's only 3-star rare, but 1.5%? Like, just give me full percents of crit rate. Why do we have to get into the half percents? 4.5%. Like, at least I got 4 crit rate on this, but again, with the half percent. 4-star piece, 1.5% crit rate. Oh, this is a 2-star piece, so I won't complain about the 2-star. But yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but 4-star epic, 1.5% crit rate. Come on. You guys are killing me with that. And I'm sure later in the game, it'll be real easy to build your crit rate. But it is so painful finding a decent, well, what you think is a decent 4-star piece. Speed, flat HP not great, crit rate, and you get 1.5%. Early game, it's basically going to be impossible to build 100% crit rate, and you're going to need main stat crit rate to even get over 50%. If I go back to my roster real quick, you can see Thorkel's at 92%, and even my Ramses is only at 75%, and he has a 4-star main crit percent. Gauntlets, sorry. Level 16. And the only reason Thorkel is so much higher, he's getting 21% from his weapon. He's actually getting more from his weapon than his crit rate gauntlets. I mean, I know they're only 12, so he'll get more when these are maxed. But he also has crit rate on the helmet. So I don't know. I know you can get all these stats from different areas. You can get it from your weapon, you can get it from attunement. I know none of his pieces are crit rate. I'm not even sure if crit rate is an attunement stat. But those, 1-2% pieces just feel so punishing. Like, I don't know, 2% crit rate, that piece is almost instantly trash to me unless it has other good stats that I need. As for the rest of the gearing, I really haven't found that much of an issue. Obviously, whatever stat you want to focus on, you're going to have to hard focus in the early game. But I don't know, maybe I'm crazy and crit rate's not that big of a deal because you'll be able to get it easier depending on your weapon and all that. There are also gear sets that give you crit rate, but I was rolling gear and getting 1.5%, and it was kind of blowing my mind, like, what is even the point of this? I guess you need bad gear to have good gear, but I don't know, that was probably one of my bigger pain points. You're probably going to be sick of these cut-ins if you're not already, but I didn't like the way I worded things on that little rant. And I just want to clarify, like, I don't think day one you should be able to build a hero with 100% crit rate, but I was just trying to emphasize that, like, the 2% rolls, especially on, like, rank 4 gear, it's basically a useless stat. Like, what am I going to do with 2% crit rate? So I just wanted to emphasize, like, day one, week one, you're probably not going to hit 100%, but once you start getting those higher rank pieces, you shouldn't be getting these little tiny, effectively useless rolls. So, just wanted to add that in. Sorry if these cut-ins are getting annoying. One of the other issues I had is kind of the UI, kind of more specifically on mobile. Obviously I'm on my PC now recording, but if I go into gear, this isn't really a great piece, but for the video, on the computer, that was real easy to drag up to 4, but got some fat fingers. On mobile, that slider is real small, and it doesn't like to land right on 4, it likes to land on 5, and then you can't really grab it and move it 1, it jumps down to 2, and then you're like, ugh. And you finally land on 4, and it's kind of the same thing with, I gotta go to a hero that isn't maxed out, kind of the same thing with the books on mobile. Now I kind of have separate ideas for the two things, like books, you know, you want to put in however many you want to put in, so I kind of think it would be cool just leave the slider and maybe put arrows, so you can arrow up or down one at a time. So let's say you just want to try and put all your books into the ultimate, and you just want to get to 6, you don't necessarily want to dump all your books into the hero, you can just hit those arrows. For gear, I think it would be cool to have something like this. When you go to promote a hero, you can click on the 5-star, and it instantly brings you to the 5-star level. For gear, we know you gain stats every 4 levels, so it would be real cool if you could have gear, enhance it, and you have a 4, level 4. Obviously wouldn't be a star because stars are for the levels, but if you had a 4, 8, 12, and max button that you could click, just so it instantly brings the slider, boom, click the level 4 button, now I can increase my main and substats. Boom, click 8, I want to bring this one to 8. I don't want to struggle with this on mobile, not great. I do know they have a pass to do on the whole UI, they have mentioned it in some of the videos, and I think in the most recent podcast, but I still wanted to bring it up. That's kind of been a big pain point for me. Mostly been playing at work, and I'm kind of limited on what I can do. So anything that can make it easier and more efficient on mobile would be great. So usually I pick up my phone, do something real quick, set some auto battles, and put it down. And one of the other things that I'm not a huge fan of is when you click into Ascend and it brings you up into this other menu, it drops the X button down here. And the amount of times I click this plus button on mobile, just because my thumb instinctively goes, my thumb just instinctively goes there because the X is always up here, and then on this one screen it drops down here, so I'm always clicking this little plus button on my phone. I feel like there's somewhere else that it does it. Yeah, sorry, I tried clicking around and couldn't find it, but I swear there's another spot where I hit this button on the rubies all the time, but maybe I'm just going crazy. But yeah, I haven't played mostly mobile. I would have to say those are probably my 2 biggest pain points. Kind of had the lag that everyone else has had, and some of the other hero bugs, like I mentioned earlier, my reviver doesn't revive. I had some of the exploding, flashing white screens going into summoning. I actually had a no music bug that Ned Crash had, and he figured out how to solve, so luckily I was able to do what he did and fix it for myself. But I know those are all things that were already reported to the team, and I'm sure they're working on already. Sorry for the random cut, but I just remembered one thing that I wanted to add in to my, I guess, needs improvement section. Critical feedback section, whatever you want to call it. This 2-hour reward chest might as well not exist. I don't know exactly what you can get out of it, but I've mostly been getting 1-star common gear. I think the best thing I got was a 2-piece, level 2 rare piece of gear. So, I don't know. I guess the little extra bit of Rivenite is nice, but other than that, chest hasn't been too kind to me. Maybe other people have been luckier with it, but for me, you might as well end it at the 90-minute rewards. It would be cool if we got a fixed gift. Like maybe another 10 rubies, or maybe only 5 if you don't want to go crazy giving too many out. But like, this randomness, I'm okay with. because I know I'm coming in here and gambling with my gold. This one for a reward just feels useless when I get something bad, so I don't really love that randomness, I guess. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to everything being fixed. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I've gotten almost nothing from this chest, so might as well not be there for me. I just wanted to add that in because I remembered it as I was about to go into editing. Yeah, I guess to make this a compliment sandwich and finish off with something more positive, I have absolutely been loving the beta. I've been grinding, been overnight farming, I've been putting all types of time into it. And frustrating bugs aside, I've been having an absolute blast playing it. I really can't wait to explore more on the next beta wave and launch, when we have access to more areas. Before I realized I had the energy pots in my bag, I was definitely running out of energy and being like, oh man, I don't love Arena, but I want to keep playing and I wish there was something else I could jump into. We also know they have a draft mode in the works that I don't think is planned for any beta. I don't even know if it'll be early access, it might be in full global launch. But I know that's just something they have planned in the future. So it'll be real cool to have different areas to jump into and not just the farming with your energy. And if you're interested, I'll have the link to sign up for the mailing list down below. You want to be on the mailing list, so you make sure you get all the up-to-date news about the different waves and whatever's launching when. If you're not on the mailing list, you won't get that first wave of drops with the links to download. And I'll also have a download link so you can jump in and try out the beta for the last few days. This wave closes in the morning on June 2nd for me. I want to say 11 a.m. and I'm on the east coast of the US, so you'll have to kind of figure out your time from there, but you can hop in, get some pulls, get your account started for Beta Wave 2. Also sign up for the email list so you get the email about when the second wave launches, and the download links for that wave and everything. And yeah, that's all I have for this one. I kind of spoiled some of them going through my hero roster, but I recorded some summons earlier before recording this, so I'm going to drop those in right now. If you're interested in checking those out, hang around. If not, have a good one. Thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? I just finished the download, and if you haven't gone in yet, make sure to claim your energy and 60 Ancestral Aetherstone, and we're going to go ahead and rip those summons. Alright, nothing crazy there. I'll actually pop it up on screen, and you can see my pity reset. I actually had an amazing pull last night. Yeah, last night. And I did it on my phone, so it was not while I was recording. But I got, as you can see, Loki and Quetzalcoatl. And as a bonus kicker, I got Ziptotek, I think is how you say it, as an epic. And I've heard great things about him, so I am super pumped about this pull, and unfortunately happened on my phone, not while I was live recording it or anything. Alright, we might have used up all my luck last night. I'm running an alt account, and I haven't been focusing it as much as the main, but can't remember if this is a dupe on this account or if I have her on the other account. And Cyclops is a great pickup for a rare, a lot of AoEs. What do we got? Alright, paying a little bit of the blue tax. Hopefully that means something good's coming. Ooh, that's tough. I've been using Thorkel, he's been really good for me. But I think at this point I want to save this for the next beta wave and not feed it into him. Gee, double set. Well, kind of wasn't expecting to hit gold, but at least we put a dent in the pity again. And we'll rip these Eternals too. I keep forgetting his name. Orpheus. Another Orpheus. Don't need to watch the animation again. Okay. I believe she is new for me. I know she's done some dirty things to me in the adventure mode, going against her. Decreased turn meter, AoE. That's awesome. Attack down and speed down. I knew she threw up a couple debuffs. Also AoE. One enemy with lock core. Well, when an enemy receives turn meter increase, this hero retaliates. That's pretty awesome, especially since she's going to hit with her AoE that reduces turn meter. Pretty low chance, but I'm sure it books up decent. I'm psyched for that pick. I don't know if I'll get to her this wave, especially since I just pulled Loki and Quetzalcoatl, and I would love to try one of them out. Running out of time to build up more heroes. Believe Cleopatra? Nope. I thought I saw a purple flash, but Nitocris. That's a new rare, I believe. I don't think I've seen her pop up before. Oh man. I've been hoping to pull him. Xolotl. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but I actually, when we saw the art for this hero, I was psyched. Those claws are awesome. Such a dope character model. I don't know how he's just an epic, not legendary. A lot of randomness in his kit. Attacks an enemy, increase his divinity, and place a random buff on a random ally. Okay, that's interesting. So his passive is a chance at joining an ally and attacking. When he joins an attack, he'll heal all allies and increase their divinity, so that's insane. And when he joins the attack, he'll prioritize placing the buff on the ally that he's attacking with. So that's pretty nuts. Attack one enemy, mirror one random buff from the target. Also increase the duration of one random buff on all allies. So again, little random with the one random buff, but still nice getting the extension. Oh, this is awesome since I just pulled Quetzalcoatl. Attack one enemy, place Sharpen 2 on all allies for 2 turns, and if Quetzalcoatl is an ally, they will join the attack. So that's definitely a pair I will be trying out. And Sharpen, increase strong hit chance and strong hit damage by 30%. Sharpen 2, I should say. Alright, how many do I have left? 2 left. Mao Chao, I haven't built him yet, but I heard good things, and I think I have one leveled up to 30, but just haven't equipped him or done anything besides leveling him. Another Mao Chao. Alright, I'm gonna save these mortals until I have to level up some more heroes. So that's all for these summons.